what we're going to do now is we're gonna respond to the infinity of intimacy, and we're going to enter into prayer. Now, as soon as we say prayer, just watch what happens if you're new. You're like, oh, prayer. I thought this was like a podcast. I thought this was the future of civilization. Why are they praying? So that's a mistake. Okay, that's how public discourse hijacked prayer. Kant says, Immanuel Kant, that the modern human being is ashamed of praying because we understand prayer as some sort of turning to a cosmic vending machine God, putting in a quarter and getting out a result. And much of New Age teaching actually portrays the universe in the same way. Both the old religion and lots of popular New Age dogma talks about how you can manipulate the universe through a series of actions to produce the results you want. And religion was in part right, and the New Age is in part right. There are things we can do to create ourselves to be in resonance with the cosmos, to generate right new depth. And the universe is a mystery. The universe is mystery. And we turn to God with the realization that one, God is not only beyond cosmos, God not only holds the whole thing, God is inherent in the whole thing. The Aramaic master said, Leitatar panui mine. There's no place without she. So God holds it all, and God adheres, is inherent in it all. Now, stay close, right? The New Age and some of the classical mystics in different traditions went too far. They said God is exhausted by reality. God is that spark within us. Well, no, no. Divinity lives in us, as us, and through us, and holds us, right? So divinity is not just God in the third person, not just the supernovas, not just the laws of physics and chemistry, right? Divinity is sitting in a chair next to you, yearning for you, loving you madly, desiring you, knowing your name. But that's not a dogma. That's not a faith assertion. That's not a belief. That's actually a knowing, a realization, just like the classical realization of enlightenment. It's the realization of enlightenment where I actually realize that cosmos is personal. Cosmos is not less than personal. Cosmos is more than personal, but it's not less than personal. The personhood of cosmos, that is to say, the quality that lives between us, is a second person quality. And we wouldn't want to be alive without speaking to another human being whose interior was resonant with our interiors. We wouldn't want to be alive without being attuned with another human being whose interiors were attuned with our interiors. That's the quality of second person. That's as true a reality as the third person of science is. And it's as true a reality as the first person of meditation is. The first person of meditation, tatvamasi, thou art that. Divinity lives in me, as me, and through me. Beautiful. Ani Adonai Elohechem. My I is divinity. Third person analysis, moral reasoning, physics, superstring theory, theoretical calculus, and much more advanced versions. Third person. Second person, right? Wow. God's not just the infinity of power. God's not just tattvam asi, right? The consciousness that lives in me. God's my friend. He's my mad friend. God's my mad lover. Right? That's why Rumi turns to the divine and he says, I'm mad for you in love. I am a mad lover of God. And here's the thing. The intrinsic structure and nature of reality is that divinity is madly in love with you. When you have an experience of someone being madly in love with you, you ever had that experience? Right? Right? So if you haven't, let me be madly in love with you right now with your permission. But like you've had an experience, right? Someone's madly in love with you. That's not limited to you and that person. That participates in the quality of cosmos that knows you personally and uniquely and is madly in love with you. Okay, wow. That's a pointing out instruction, what we just did. And when you've experienced someone being madly in love with you, right, or you're madly in love with someone, that's you participating in that quality. That quality doesn't just live in you. That isn't not possible. Just do a simple realization, a simple internal check. That quality of being madly in love, that's not you. That's not a local quality. You're accessing a quality that lives in Kosmos, right? Wow. Just think about it for a second. If you want to know how often, I'm going to do another pointing out instruction. This is a unique self-pointing out instruction. If you want to know how often is God thinking about you? It's a good question, right? Right? Is God to think about you occasionally? Because, she's got, 7.7 billion people. So she keeps going around. Okay, that's you. Okay, just no. So go inside and think about how often do you think about your life? Where's your focus? Whose life do you think about more than anyone else's life? Whose life are you reviewing in your mind, checking? Should I do this? Should I access this? Should I open that door? Should I make that decision? Who are you thinking about all the time? Just between us. Yourself. But not because you're a narcissist. This is the pointing out instruction. Yes, there's thoughts to let go of. Yes, there's old tapes in the mind to release. But at the core, you're supposed to be thinking about yourself. You're supposed to be meeting yourself. You're the captain of your ship. You're the captain of your destiny. So you thinking about yourself, right, participates directly in God thinking about you. You thinking about yourself is you eavesdropping on God thinking about you. Now get a hold of that. Get a hold of that. That's the experience of unique self. It's the realization that I am irreducibly unique. I'm an irreducibly unique expression of the love intelligence, the love beauty, and the love desire. That's the animating eros and energy of all that is, that lives in me, as me, and through me, that never was, is, or will be ever again other than through me, and madly loves me, is madly in love with me. Not love mad. I talked to my son lives in California. He was with me the last few months. His mommy was very sick and she's getting better. So he's back in California. And so we talk to each other every night. And it's my youngest son, right? My second son's actually with me in the room right now, right? Yair. This is my youngest son. And so I call him every night, to make sure he's okay. And we talk, sometimes for 10 minutes. I do some reading with him. Other times we spend a little longer, sometimes a little shorter. And then we get off, we say, love you. And I say, no. Zion, you can't say love you. So what should I say? I say, love you madly. Then we say, love you madly, right? Love you madly. Madly means I'm in. I'm madly focused on you. And I care about you insanely. Okay, so that experience we have of self-involvement is not narcissism. It's not a mistake. You don't want to evolve beyond your ego. Your ego points to your unique self. And your unique self is the irreducible uniqueness of you that reality's madly obsessed with. Divine reality. That's what we mean when we say before prayer that God's not only the infinity of power, God's the infinity of intimacy. And that personhood, second person, is a core structure of Kosmos. And as Christina Tehel recapitulated, in every place we fall into the arms of she. Okay? So that's the beginning of what we're talking about in our code. Right? You can't be welcome home in the Kosmos unless the Kosmos is personal. Do you understand that? So this is all a commentary on our code as we move into prayer. If there's not infinite personhood in Kosmos that knows your name, you're not welcome in Kosmos. If your only beloved is that human mortal expression that wonderfully fixates on you, and that's the extent of love, few people love you and one or two maybe are madly in love with you, it's not going to hold. The center will not hold, as the poet wrote. If that love doesn't participate in the outrageous love that courses through Kosmos, then if God forbid something happens to that person, or they don't love you in the right way, or they disappear, then you're shattered. And if you don't get the exact kind of love that you want from another person the way that you want it, then you're devastated. And now we have our contemporary mental health crisis, right? Wow. because we've exiled love from its source, right, into this very narrow human expression, when in fact human love participates in the mad love of Kosmos. That's why Rumi always says, love mad. Right? I love you madly, we say to each other in our circle. Not because we're delirious, but because we're drunk. But we're not drunk because we're inebriated with that which is toxic. We're intoxicated because we're actually suffused with the realization, the depth realization of the most subtle and speculative minds through history, that we live in our bodies, which is we know that we live in an intimate universe, that the intimate universe lives in us, and that we're welcome. We're welcome in Kosmos, right? We're welcome.